Old Toby, finest weed in all of South Farthing. And this weed is going to take us through a bit of a rambling session about what went down in the woke league of Chinese basketball, aka the NBA. Yes, major blockbuster trade yesterday between essentially four teams: the Brooklyn Nets, the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Indiana Pacers. Now, I wanted to talk about each team's in order of biggest winners to biggest losers. And spoiler alert, I think the Brooklyn Nets are the biggest losers, and good God, you already know the goddamn salt, the emotions and the feels are going to come in. You're just fucking shitting on the Brooklyn Nets. Calm down, motherfucker. I'll get to those bitches in a bit. But let's talk about the biggest winner here, in my opinion, after all this broke down. The Houston Rockets. They went ahead and offloaded James Harden, who I've contested was a big fucking cancer in the Houston Rockets locker room. And if you want to, be ballsy and actually do a proper rebuild, you got to trade that guy. And lo and behold, they do. And they get a bunch of first-round picks. And here's the haul they're getting. All right. So initially it was Karis LeVert, Rodion Crooks, Dante Exum. Remember Dante Exum, kids? Utah boy. Yeah. 3 future first-round picks via the Brooklyn Nets, 4 first-round pick swaps, a future first-round pick from the Cleveland Cavaliers via the Milwaukee Bucks, and then the Houston Rockets went ahead and traded Karis LeVert to the Indiana Pacers with a second-round pick for a 2023 tied alongside it. And so Victor Oladipo coming to H-Town. And it's curious, I made this little running joke yesterday amongst the friends there. And, it's kind of that old dad joke mentality where it's like, oh, I hit the joke once, I'm going to say it 15 fucking times. But, Victor Oladipo has quite the fucking singing voice. I'll be honest about that. If you've never heard Victor Oladipo sing, please do. He has an angelic voice, the man does. And, I'm pretty sure Houston has some karaoke places, Korean karaoke places out there. So, if Oladipo wants to transform into Oppa Oladipo, aka Daddy Oladipo, in the Korean verse, you know what to do. This is free information for you, Victor, by the way. I'm not charging anything for this shit. Just take it for free. Oppa Oladipo, take it to the bank, baby. But again, the thing with the Houston Rockets, and I understand if you're a fan of the Houston Rockets, how bummed out you might be because Houston, offloaded James Harden, MVP, oh my gosh, franchise player. But is he worth the headache at his age? I don't think so. And I think the chemistry developing between John Wall, Boogie Cousins, and all the role player guys in the Houston team right now is going to be a very good thing and a viable team for the upcoming future. Now, of course, the West is a fucking bloodbath. Let's not, get anything twisted about that shit. But I'm very curious to see how this Houston Rockets team develops. With the bevy of first-round picks that they got, if the Nets do horribly, they can only benefit. And, yeah, again, we'll talk about why I think the Nets will eventually just kaput. But let's talk about the Indiana Pacers. And I really think for them to add Karis LeVert, a lateral move kind of for a trade in Victor Oladipo, but you do also get an extra asset in that second round pick, which honestly, with the Pacers organization, they are able to draft pretty damn well, develop talent internally, and really just always put a competitive team. So in this regard, for their business model, how they do things, I think it's great. Now, Karis versus Victor, I do think it's a lateral move. Maybe Victor has a little bit more offensive upsides, but I think Karis can definitely be a star factor. This guy, pre-Kyrie, pre-KD, pre-Harden, Brooklyn Nets, Karis was outstanding. Him, Spencer Dinwiddie, bloody hell, Jared Allen, just doing it big with D'Lo, who I contest D'Lo should have been a Brooklyn Nets for at least 5-6 years, because that dude was lighting it up over there. But I get it, there's all these circumstances that popped up. Free agency was a bit of a doozy in that one. But yeah, I think the Pacers get a pretty good haul here. And I know I said, biggest winners to losers, but I don't really see the Cavs as losers either here. Now, they get Jared Allen and Taurean Prince for, swapping their first. And again, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, I think you're adding good role players to that Cavs team. And again, you're not going to be, the be-all, end-all in the East. Far from it. I think the Cavs really kind of cemented themselves in that 8th or 9th seed spot for a consistent period now, because they got all these young guys coming up. They got good role players, and it's going to be curious to see how they develop. But yeah, these aren't the big fucking things that everybody wants to, get excited for, right? The fucking most basic takes, who's going to win the championship? Like, who gives a fuck? Also enjoy the journey to the championship and to the playoffs, man. This is where the nuance and subtleties of NBA discourse has kind of died, where automatically the talks is, James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets, they're automatically the best. They're going to win the championship. How? You killed off your depth. And this is where we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets now. You killed off your depth. You are with the first-year head coach in Steve Nash, who, by the way, I think he's doing a pretty damn decent job. I mean, not the greatest, but for a first year with Mike D'Antoni on the bench, he's not doing too bad. But, man, you add the fucking flame to the goddamn fuel already that is known as the media. I wouldn't even say mediocrity. I would just say just the blatant stupidity of Kyrie Irving just outright just dousing all over the Brooklyn Nets organization since he came in there day one. I mean, you're just now adding fire with this fucking Harden situation, who, by the way, this motherfucker was going to goddamn strip clubs, probably, linking it up with Strip Club Lou, but James Harden is a fucking cancer. I mean, this guy, after the Lakers loss this weekend, by the way, he went off in the post game talking about, chemistry's not right. I think it might have been on Monday or Tuesday. Forgive me for the date mistakes there, but no, this guy goes off about, man, there's no way the chemistry can be fucking configured. You know what the fuck I mean. But you get John Wall and Boogie clapping back, and man, I'm pretty honest about my feelings about John Wall. I thought he was a goddamn idiot coming out of the Wizards, but in this Rockets team, I gotta say, damn, he's actually taking some responsibility. And maybe having Boogie there and Boogie and Wall, I don't know, maybe that kind of balances each other's crazies out, right? I don't know how that shit works, but sometimes it does. But you got Boogie and Wall being the pillars of responsibility in this situation, weirdly enough, and James Harden just being an indifferent, typical entitled millennial cancer. And you have the same motherfucking thing in Kyrie Irving, and you expect KD to do what exactly? Just be okay with it? Like, have you seen KD in good situations with the Warriors? He still bitches and moans. Hi, boogers, boys and girls. Little faux pas here and there. But the real faux pas here is saying that the Brooklyn Nets are going to automatically win. No, far from it. You still have a whole chemistry thing that you have to fucking figure out. You have to figure out if motherfucking Kyrie Irving's going to come back. Because where the fuck is he? I'm gone for personal reasons. But you're partying like an asshole. And you know me, boys and girls. I don't necessarily agree with any of this lockdown, curve it shit. It's all fucking ways of controlling the populace. It's all bullshit. But, dude, Kyrie, you're an employee of the National Basketball Association. There are standards and rules that you have to abide by. You get paid millions of dollars to fucking dribble a ball and put that shit through a little hoop. You're not a philosopher, bro. You're not a fucking genius. You're not a goddamn Elon Musk-esque futurist, you goddamn prick. Kyrie, what you are is a confused millennial who is trend chasing because for whatever fucking reason you need to build your brand and think you're better than everybody else, especially LeBron James, because Lord fucking forbid you have an actual fucking enemy. But no, you put the invisible fucking wall and enemy to yourself and make yourself a goddamn clown. I recognize the talent too, man, and this is the fucking thing that irritates me too. It's not like I'm shitting on Kyrie, James Harden, KD, and just knocking off the talent altogether. Far from it. They are some talented basketball players, but the reality is, all the off-court distraction, all the fucking softness in the mental game, it's gonna do you in, man. It's gonna show itself. And what really frustrates me about this whole situation is I get a feeling that if nothing works out, right? And when I say nothing works out, I mean like a first round exit to maybe oh God, I don't know, maybe like an unexpected Atlanta Hawks team. You know, you lose in 6. Who do you think the fucking blame's gonna go on? Steve Nash. What happens when they don't win a championship? Probably Steve Nash. And this is the worst I feel for anybody in this whole situation. I feel bad for Steve Nash. You got tossed into the fucking fire. Now, if Steve Nash was somehow able to, you know, do almost a Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr-esque, not like they're in the same fucking bubble. Let's not get that shit twisted real quick. Phil Jackson is God tier head coach. Steve Kerr, he's good. He's good. But if you can manage personalities, if you can, you know, somehow juggle around the egos and put up winning basketball and win a championship, my God, I think you've earned every right to be called a good head coach. But until then, until you prove otherwise, and until this team can prove to everybody, not just me, to everybody, that they can win games in a cohesive unit, as a cohesive unit, I'm not buying it. I've said this for, I don't know how many months I've been saying this. Like, Kyrie is a fucking cancer. This dude is blatantly fucking putting teams under the bus, especially last season or like a year and a half ago when he was putting guys like Joe Harris, Dinwiddie, and other guys under the fucking bus. Like, oh, I don't know if they're going to be part of the future. Like, you're a fucking prick, dude. Like, you're such a goddamn cancer. You basically remind me of I suppose a more dumber Paul George. I know, I can't even say that. Paul George is a fucking idiot too. So yeah, I mean, you guys are kind of in the same sphere of clown world. And James Harden, I mean, yeah, again, for as much talent as you got, you're kind of going to be in the wrong side of 30, all things considered. And with your fluctuation of weight, your general malaise with basketball, I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, for Brooklyn fans, you know, New Jersey fans of the Nets, you know, kudos to you guys. You guys are finally seeing a team that is going to put some decent basketball up there, but I honestly think for the long term, it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't have anything to do with the Lakers, man. Like, again, let's not get this shit twisted, boys and girls. Like, why the fuck does it always have to go back to projection deflection? Because the reality is, this Brooklyn Nets team, on paper, looks nice. It does, but guess what? On paper doesn't mean shit when you can't perform. Just ask the Clippers last season. Just ask the Bucks last season. Just ask any fucking team that got hyped up. And then reality fucking crushes their face with chemistry issues, not being able to move the ball, not being able to determine who's going to take the last shot. Shit like that. Little fucking shit like that that's going to pile up. And honestly, call me a hater. I don't care. I don't have any faith in this Brooklyn Nets team. And it's curious because I'm talking basketball, but I only got hockey gear on because, boys and girls, it is hockey night tonight. Thursday. Vegas Golden Knights are finally having their puck drop against Anaheim Ducks. So, got the fucking shit ready. But, yeah, I wanted to talk some NBA. I had this rant on my mind for a bit just because I've been hearing all these takes left and right. You know, oh, the Harden trade's great. The Nets are going to win the championship, to the most pessimistic take of, you know, they're never going to win anything and, you know, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, I'm probably in that latter category because I just do not trust James Harden. I don't trust Kyrie Irving. And, you know, the thought has been, you know, provoked up there. You know, will Kyrie Irving be traded at this point? I mean, he's an MIA. He's a no-show, so maybe there's a potential. But very curious to see how it goes. As a Lakers fan, I'm honestly just kind of cruising through the season. I don't really care what happens. I'm just still enjoying the 17th ring because most of you motherfuckers are so goddamn quick into wanting more and shit. But honestly, I'm just enjoying the fact that, hey, we got 17. We're on, par with the Celtics at this point. We have the best record in the West, and hopefully injuries don't creep in and kill our team. And yeah, that's really it. So, Woke League of Chinese Basketball. How fun.